Hello everyone, and now welcome to Game 3 in the series. Game 3 between Thorzain and Rhett. A very interesting series so far. E.g. Thorzain losing Game 1 after a failed proxy 2 racks, was unable to slow down Liquid Rhett at all. Game 2 we saw a very different showing coming in from Thorzain, opening up with just a lot of Banshee Hellion, and that Banshee Hellion ended up shutting down a third base for Rhett, while Thorzain was able to go ahead and expand behind it. And with that expansion behind it, he was able to set up a stronger economy, get into the mid and late game, win the upgrade wars with Thors and siege tanks, and simply just move map control around the map with those siege tanks and take down a fourth base. So now it is all going to a deciding Game 3 in this best of 3, and who will win? Now, Ohana is generally a map that Zerg players like very much. Easy natural expansion, generally an easy third base. There are destructible rocks in the way, but it's not an impossible third. From there, because of the way your opponent has naturally expanded, you can either take this as an expansion here, or you can try to come back around and take this as an expansion. Both of these bases you can double expand for your fourth, and even if the Terran player or your opponent is able to shut down one, they cannot generally shut down both. Here we have a very fast command center coming in from Thorzain. Meanwhile, Rhett is also going in for a very fast hatchery. And Thorzain, I believes that he is in a much better position than he was in Game 1. Alright, the drone is battling up with the SCV. SCV now working to finish up this, as we are going to see a repair here. And now the drone, getting off some easy shots here, as that drone now down to 6 hit points does need to back off. Oh, the supply depot raises just in time, forcing a little bit of a head juke on that drone. The drone is now down to 10 hit points. It needs to get one more point. Yes, it does. It still needs to take 2 shots as the drone, able to back away. And, this one drone is not long for life. Is he going to be able to win out as he's trying to get away? Oh, the animation, the suspense is killing me for one drone hit. And the drone, with some fancy floating, is able to escape and not get taken down. Meanwhile, we can see this SCV is going to be backing off here. Drone now retreating back home. Spawning pool is already up. Liquid Rhett, we'll see if he once again goes for that 4-queen opening, not establishing up a faster third base, which may have actually been to his own demise here, as a drone now making its way inside the main. The natural. Rhett does have a slight supply advantage, but then again, 4 of that supply is in 2 queens currently being trained. And meanwhile, Thorzain doesn't have that many production buildings available. Just now setting up a marine, will have a bunker ready to go, and now also perhaps adding on a reactor on his barracks. There it is. As the marine now making its way back to the bunker. Alright, Zergling still doing a little bit of map control here, and I believe Rhett is going to try and establish up this base here at the 6-minute mark. I would actually like to see him try to establish it earlier. He is going into 4-queen play, and this is because he is expecting these Hellions to come around the corner, but if he had actually gotten a head start on this hatchery, he might have actually been in a better position. He would be able to defend it. Creep would be generated down over there. He is now making his way over at the 5-minute 50-second mark. It looks like the drone is going to be growing up and building a hatchery here, but now we need to see some time before these destructible rocks go down. Alright, Rhett now going into double extractors inside his natural base. Also setting up another extractor here in the main. 6 minutes into this game, and so far both sides are pretty much doing old school strategies. Thorzain now going back to build more barracks, so he is going to be running on that traditional 3 barracks build that Terran players like to do. We do see Stim Pack, perhaps Combat Shield and Concussive Shell will be added as well. And then we should be seeing this factory lift off in order to have a starport take over on the reactor to get in a little bit of stim pushes. Hellions still driving around, dancing around, figuring out where they can go next. Thorzain, on the other hand, has yet to build up his third command center. And no third command center means that he's only going to be able to train up 2 SCVs at a time. At the most, maybe right now you can see him training up 2 SCVs at a time here. There is one Overlord positioning itself in, and it's going to spot these double reactors on the barracks. Are we going to see perhaps a focus on the Banelings? That is going to be the important thing. As those Banelings are going to be able to take down those Marines pretty easily. Alright, sorry for getting distracted there. Now, Liquid Red is sitting at 75/70 supply. Thorzain sitting at 62/62. Both sides are supply blocked, limited in options. We are seeing that the starport is ready to go. Double training of medevacs could be coming in around the corner as the Roaches are still trying to chase those Hellions. Roaches do have a range of 4 as the Marines are now shooting in the back of those Roaches. Hellions now making their way over. Going to be able to get off a lot of torching here, and that is going to be a lot of damage on those Roaches. The Roaches now down to 30 some odd hit points on that very, very back one there, and down it goes. You cannot afford to be losing units this early in the game without that unit at least dealing some sort of damage. Ret now transitioning into Banelings. You can see 6 Banelings being added, but the question is it going to be enough? Also, I've continued to love Thorzain's supply depot garage door, essentially raising it and lowering it as he sees fit in order to shut down any harassment that may be trying to come in. The Marines still do not have combat shield, but that may not matter as one Queen goes down, a second Queen goes down. Creep Tumors now getting taken down as well as all the units are in full retreat. Thorzain with 102 supply and now 2 medevacs has to be rather careful. Now making their way up over here to the 4th base. Nothing currently there at all, as the Marines may try to do a little bit of a press down. Combat shield now being added. Level 1 weapons and armor upgrades coming in from Liquid Red. Where are these Zerglings going? Zerglings still running rabid here. And are they perhaps going to be able to shut down this expansion before it gets up and running? No. The Marines and the Hellions do intercept it just in time before those Zerglings and those Banelings were able to pass. Marines and Hellions now looking to make their way in. Zerglings are going to be able to swarm this target here. Poor SCV going to get taken down in a matter of seconds. There it goes. Are we going to see a force cancellation on this command center, which means a 70 seconds lost? No, not even a cancellation, as the Zerglings are now going after Hellions. Beautiful starburst action, though, as the Marines now trying to chase after the Zerglings. We are going to see a flank from the other side. The units are all going to be backing away. Where are they going? The Zerglings could make their way back out once more. No, they're going to go ahead and try and chase. That is not going to work. A couple of Zerglings will get taken out there, as these Zerglings are, in fact, able to do a bit of scouting. There's the raising on the supply depots. And Thorzain, once again, stopping Ret from doing any serious damage other than canceling this one command center. Now Thorzain does realize he is a little bit behind at this point. He does have a larger army, but the longer this game goes, the worse it will be for him. He needs to make something happen, and he needs to make it happen quickly. Timing should be that right after level 1 armor upgrades comes in for the infantry and siege tech, he wants to engage. As soon as we see infestors and also Zerg with 2/2 melee upgrades, that is going to be a bad day for these Marines. The Marines will be dealing maybe 5 damage per attack, while the Zerglings themselves will be dealing 6 to 7 damage, as the Zerglings quickly find out that there is no hatchery here, and where are they going to be going to next? Units now trying to come in from a far corner. Zerglings may be able to get us around. No, decides against this. More units getting taken down as the Banelings go boom, and all those Banelings taken down in a matter of seconds there, alongside one single Roach. Alright, medevac drop now coming in from Thorzain. Thorzain gonna force Ret to cancel off this hatchery, or no, Zerglings not trying to make their way over in time. Is it gonna be able to do exactly that? Medevac should be picking up, decides to leave one poor Marine behind. Must have been a stingy date, I guess, as we now see units just getting dropped off there. And this is still rather interesting. So far, five Marines, 1 medevac pilot in a healing bus. Sounds like a dirty joke in there somewhere, doesn't it? Anyways, let's go ahead and come back over here. Marines, Marauders, and Siege Tanks now looking to move forward. Only one Siege Tank in this group, and it doesn't even have level 1 weapons upgrade, but the second one will double the fun as Thorzain now going to get in position. This hatchery looks like it will be falling. Zerglings now trying to make their way in. The Siege Tank was unable to get off that many shots as a third Siege Tank now just getting established. Banelings now coming in. Infestors do get off a fungal growth or two. And beautiful play by Ret. Now let's come back over here. There is a fungal growth. We could see another fungal growth on top of those units here. Are we perhaps going to see some infested Terrans as the Marines are now just getting free shots on these infestors? What is happening next? Down goes another Marine. Yes, that Marine does bite the dust as we now see a group of Marines trying to drop inside the net or the third base here. Not working out well. And Thorzain has to try and consider what his other options are. Zerglings now pushing in, deciding to back off. Ret now with about a 25 supply advantage. We are now almost even on bases. Ret just needs to move over these extractors to once again take the lead. Harvester count is 68 to 62 as the Zerglings now make their way in and may be able to take down some of these units as they are in transit. Marines now just firing back. The Zerglings are being forced to retreat. It looks like there we go. They will be retreating. And 1 or 2 lone Zerglings being left behind. Apparently not getting the call to get the heck out of that third base. Shot to death. Alright, Zerglings, Infestors now on the move. We can see 2 queens down over here. A 10 supply difference between these two armies. 67 versus 68. And now a whole bunch of Zerglings in production. We are going into that crackling upgrade, the adrenal glands, ground carapace, and level 3 melee attack. Perhaps we may even see some ultralists since all the Zerglings will be sharing very, very similar upgrades. Minus the chitinous plating on those ultralists. Coming back over here, we see Ret now establishing up this expansion, and this is going to be the last easy expansion for Ret. The only other expansions left are either right here, and and that means you're either building in Thorzain's front yard or you're building in his backyard as the Zerglings now try to sneak their way through. What is this? It really feels like Ret actually just suicided many of his units. Not a very good call at all as we now see fungal growths coming in. The fungal growths could take down a whole bunch of units here as the infestors may try to back away. There is another fungal growth taking down more units, and Ret now once again takes the lead. Meanwhile, a group of Marines now coming in from Thorzain, shutting down this hatchery here at the 10 o'clock position. There's the cancellation as the Marines are simply looking and staring at that drone. Back over here, the infestors are making their way back home, and now we see perhaps a little bit of a dangerous situation. There is one spore crawler. Ultralists are nearby. This overlord may get taken down. Yes, it is going to get shot from below. A couple of Marines already making their way in, and down goes that overlord. Medevac should pick up all of those Marines here in just a moment. Are we perhaps going to see a fungal growth? No fungal growth at all. Finally getting off a final one there in order to allow the queen to do its duty. Ultralist upgraded 2-4. That means 5 armor. We could eventually have 6 to 7 armor on these Ultralists. I believe it's 6. Or no, is it the armor already 6? Okay, so armor is already 6. We could probably perhaps get it even higher here as the command center is being reestablished once more. Here comes the infestors. Alright, factories are now trying to come in and land or trying to be built, and now here comes the infested Terran. Infested Terrans now just falling from the sky, raining from the sky. Banelings could be making their way in, and I believe Thorzain should have this additional base. You can also see another group of reinforcing queens nearby. This one particular base needs to get shut down, and rather quickly if any chance is to be had. Ret now going after all of those SCVs, and I believe Ret is going to take this game. Thorzain is not going to be able to recover from this. So many units now being lost. Thorzain's front wall has been broken. Thorzain was unable to hold as Red able to just simply almost attack move into here. You now see a group of Marines now dropping inside the main, but I don't believe that is going to be enough, as we also see Queens now in position to help join in on this fight. Marines now making their way down. It looks like Zergings are going to be coming in, running straight past. Not quite sure what that's about, as we are going to get a surround on that group of Marines. Meanwhile, Ultra is still chomping at the bit. Are we perhaps going to get a transfuse? No transfuse on any of those Ultralists. That could be a bit of a problem, but there is the GG. Well played. Liquid Ret taking this best of 3. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.